That may be an old menu.
It made the correct little announcement, so we're going to assume that I did the right thing. Good afternoon. This is the school building committee meeting for June 20th, 2025. I am Jonathan Salva, and I'm going to chair today's meeting as Kathy is here, but out of the country, and so in case we get some glitches, we can keep moving. Um, I think the first thing to do is to put up an agenda. And
And
Ksenia can
also,
do that for us.
and
Well,
just
that's
make,
right. I got to see if make sure everybody can be heard and hear. And so I'm just going to call on folks in the order I see them. Bob Parent.
I am here, although I'm not a member.
Oh, ooh, did we miscount then?
no, I don't think so. If Paul is
Okay.
there, I think we have 7.
Okay. Bruce Colden.
I'm
Sorry,
here,
Bob. I'm just
and I'm not sure you're right.
Jennifer.
Oh, it's okay. Alicia's
Yep.
here.
Hi there. Yes.
And Michael O'Connell.
Yep, I'm here.
And Kathy.
Yes, I'm here.
And Paul Bachman. Paul, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. And Alicia.
Here.
I think that means everyone can be heard and we can hear them and we have a quorum. So we will move along to the agenda.
Coming up. There you go.
I can see that, so I'm going to hope everyone else can. And Ksenia, can you kind of walk us through what we're going to go through today?
Sure. So today's agenda is composed of 6 items. The first being a call to order, accomplished, a construction update. The third item will be our monthly review of the invoice package and request for approval. Public comment will be number 4. Number 5 is items not anticipated 48 hours before this meeting, and then we will adjourn. So hopefully a nice quick meeting with some exciting news to share from the construction front.
Great.
So we will, Jonathan, if we may, move on to have Connor pull up the slideshow with the pictures. Connor, do you have the ability to share yet?
I do, yes.
Okay, and we will ask Tim to walk us through the construction status.
I can't. Oh, there we go. Hopefully you guys can see that.
I can.
Perfect. All right. So yeah, this is last month, just to set Tim up. A couple photos from last month to start us off here. And then
so here you can
go ahead, Tim.
No, I was just going to say here you can see the steel structure wasn't entirely complete, and as we move into the current photos, you will see that all of the steel structure is in place. Some minor detailing left, a few pieces of deck, and some welding to be done. But the structure of the building itself is at this point complete. If you're really paying attention, you'll notice that the crane is no longer on site. The floor slabs are continuing. I think the second floor is entirely complete. The third floor is almost complete, and the slab-on grade is proceeding from the east end of the building to the west as the underground utilities are completed underneath. You can see in the pictures as we scroll through that they are starting to frame the exterior walls on the north side of the building. You'll start to see the shape of the windows and the classrooms. And you'll see that they're quite large, so there shall be a lot of natural light in the classrooms. Scrolling through. Yeah, so here we are looking at, I believe, the north side just east of where the exterior framing around the windows is. Here is a shot of the roof where they are starting the roof installation, which starts with the parapet blocking around the perimeter. The yellow foam that you see is part of the installation system. And then the image on the right is the reinforcing that's in the slab on the second or third floor. Here is the stair C at the southeast corner of the building. And at this point, there is concrete in those pans and making it very convenient for the people working on the building. You can walk up and down it now. So when there is a next tour of the building committee, you will be able to walk up a fully fledged stair to get to the upper parts of the building, which is very exciting. The geothermal well installation has begun on any site, not just our site. It is a messy process, as you can see. They have 2 rigs going, and I believe at this point they have 10 of the 84 wells in dug, and then they follow up by putting the loop in. So at this rate, and according to schedule, they should be wrapping up, midsummer, July, August, and the system will be in place.
There we go.
So here's a look at the exterior framing, the cold form metal framing. The spaces on the image on the right are the end of the corridor, which is floor to ceiling curtain wall, and the windows you can see that are framed. In front of this light gauge framing is going to be all masonry in the coming months. Here's a view at the first floor windows on the north side of the building, and a view from further back on the south. Behind the heavy equipment on the left of the image on the right is the administration suite, and then the gym is the center, and then the tall part in the middle of the steel structure is the stair B that faces the parent drop off to the south. But so far, everything is progressing according to schedule in terms of construction.
And then just to follow up the construction update presentation, the first site tour is currently scheduled for 4 p.m. on Tuesday, July 22nd. I'll send out a calendar invite to everyone to hold off that time on your calendars. But if you are interested in attending, please send me an email and we will sign you up for that site tour.
There will be a waiver that the contractor CTA is going to be looking for all the members to sign. We are obtaining that, and we'll do our best to get it to everybody in advance so that there's little to do when you arrive at 4 o'clock on July 22nd for the walkthrough. But if anybody can't get to it in advance, we'll handle it on site as well. I will say that the kinds of pictures that you're going to see, Connor, can you scroll back up so that to a picture as I'm talking, just for a backdrop. So the kinds of pictures that you're going to see as we continue for the project are going to change in character somewhat, right? So we had very exciting times when 1 month there was no building, and then boom, there's a building, right? Now that the primary structure is standing and it's getting infilled with slabs, the roof materials on site, so things are going to start getting tightened up. The exterior will start getting closed. The next visually interesting thing that's going to happen is watching the facade start to look more like its final intended materials. And then moving past that, you will be seeing a lot of exterior images that stay consistent, but on the interior, a lot of activity in terms of mechanical, electrical, plumbing, rough, which means, putting in the pipes and ducts and wiring that would eventually be hidden by ceilings and walls. Eventually you'll still start to see it getting fleshed out with some of the pretty finishes that are what we ultimately all want to see. In July, during the site tour, which is only about a month from now, what we would expect the building to look fairly similar to this, probably with much more of the exterior wall framed Possibly some of it starts getting enclosed. Hopefully by then we will see most, if not all, of the interior slabs in place, which will make it a safer space to tour. Right, as Tim mentioned, that we now have a set of stairs with concrete in the pans, which is very exciting. And on the exterior, we're going to see the site work continue apace. So they are not going to sit on the site work and wait for the building to come together. They're actually quickly and aggressively going after every piece of work that they can get to without risking damaging it by ongoing activities. It is a tight schedule and they are pursuing it very responsibly. Do we have any questions on the construction progress?
Maybe we could take the pictures down just so we can see hands better. There we go. No questions? Great. I mean, I think it's great progress. I'm glad to see the update.
Excellent. Okay. In that case, the next item on the agenda is invoices. And back to Connor again.
Yep, and back to sharing the screen.
Whether that's back up.
It's, oh, there it is. Yes, I can see it.
Starting off with our executive summary as always, the top left, the green section is invoice previously, the black section is our current invoice package, the yellow is our current unbilled portion of contracts, and the white is currently uncommitted. So this current invoice package is 3.5% of the project budget overall, brings us up to 22% invoiced overall, leaving 78% remaining. Moving down to our cash flow, you see our yellow line here where we are this month, and our green actual values keep ticking up little by little. Our projections going forward. And then just a reminder that this big column at the end here is holding contingency. So moving on to the invoice package itself. This month we have 6 invoices, one from Answer, one from Danisco, one from CTA, and 3 from Allied, who is doing the third-party testing and inspections. So starting off with the one Answer invoice, it's for $70,615.75. It's 3% of the Answer contract overall, bringing it up to 42% complete and 58% remaining. Moving down to Danisco, the standard $65,000 per month invoice that we've been seeing for a couple months now. 1% of their contract overall, bringing them up to 76% complete, 24% remaining. The requisition from CTA for May, $3,323,733.22. That's 4% of their contract overall, bringing them up to 16% completed, with 84% remaining. And you can see our retainage stacking up in the right-hand column as well. The 3 invoices from Allied, the first one is for $960. The second is for $6,153, and the last one is for $6,519. That combined is 3% of their contract overall, bringing them up to 14% complete. So unless there's any questions on the summary page, can move on to the actual invoices. And just a reminder, as always, I can't see you guys when I'm presenting, so just feel free to shout out if you have any questions. So starting off with the Answer invoice, cover page here, you can see that, $70,250 is for Answer's OPM services, and then there's also $365.75 for Answer's subconsultant Architend and the work they're doing. So moving on to the backup. This is Architen's invoice, backup for that. Here's Danisco's invoice for the 65,000 for their services. This is the first Allied invoice for $960. The second Allied invoice. Second page of that same invoice. This one's for $6,153. And the third and final Allied invoice. Yep.
Connor, just go back to the other one. It occurs to me that seemed like a good one just for us to get an idea of what's being tested, because it's, I'm thinking, well, I know they sample concrete and they test them and so forth, but there's a lot of other things there too. And like there was a levelness test down the bottom there. I'm just curious.
Sure.
Spend a
happy-
moment just telling us all of some of the things that Allied are doing, just so we have a better understanding of their value to the project.
That's a great point, Bruce. Thank you. So Allied Testing is a third-party independent testing agency. Their purpose is to make sure that the construction quality that's going into place meets the standards of the design specifications and of applicable codes. They test a range of materials and installations, but the bulk of testing on any project is always expanded on things like testing the compaction of soil underneath the building or underneath a roadway to make sure that it will adequately support the structures and the roadways in a way that lasts. They then test the concrete for strength. Those are the cylinders that you pour and break in a lab, and then you break another one 7 days later, and you break another one, so as the concrete ages and gets closer to its full strength capacity, that it has been happening for a while now for foundations and concrete placements like that, and it is now happening for the slabs, both slab on grade, which means a slab that's placed directly on the soil, and slabs on deck, which have elevated floor slabs that are placed into the metal deck pan essentially. And when you are testing that, not only do you test the strength of a concrete mix, but you also test for flatness and levelness of the slabs. There are some complexities that I will not get into around those two measurements, but so far everything has been coming in, and Rick and Tim are welcome to speak over me if you want to elaborate more, but all the testing has been coming in good and sufficient. The structural steel connections are also tested to make sure that the steel itself comes from the mill and is assumed to be fine, but the connections that are installed and tightened in the field are what is also observed and tested. As we continue for the project, there'll be some other testing of fire stopping assemblies, for firewalls and things like that. But what I just described is going to cover, I want to say, 85% of the testing, 90% of the testing that happens on site. There's also testing for adhesion of a few different kinds of materials. Like, does the air vapor barrier, which is essentially a sticky sheet membrane that gets attached to the full exterior of a building, is that on tightly, right? It's a pull test. There's going to be some pool tests for other adhered materials. Sometimes it's true of flooring, etc. But that is all happening and being done by an independent testing agency directly under contract to the town.
Thank you, Ksenia. Thank you very much.
It's a great question. Thank you.
So back to the third Allied invoice, third and final one here. 2 pages once again. Here's the second page. This one is for $6,519. Then moving on to CTA's requisition. Cover page here. This one's for $3,323,733.22. And moving on to the breakdown summary. We have our current period column here. Stored materials, tainage, on the right. Change orders are down here. There are a couple of change orders that have been executed. The first one was to extend the schedule due to the contract award delay. The second one established the allowances for acceleration and winter conditions. And the third one closed out winter conditions, funding an overrun of about 27%, and also made adjustments to brick colors to better align with the building committee selections. So with that, that completes our invoice presentation. As always, we have reviewed these invoices and recommend them for your approval.
Okay.
So unless there's any other questions, I'll pass it along.
Does anyone have questions on Connor's presentation of the invoices? I would entertain a motion.
Connor, could you take it down so we can see faces?
Yep.
There we go. That's better. Someone want to make a motion? Bruce?
I'll move acceptance of the invoices as presented, and that payment be made accordingly.
Shane seconds.
Great. So I will do a roll call vote again based upon the order I see people in. Jennifer
Yes.
and Bruce,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Paul. Uh-oh. Well, I'll vote. I'm a yes as well. Paul's a yes, and Alicia.
Yes.
That's unanimous, and so we've approved those. And I think the next item on the list is public comments. And so if Ksenia, you can look for hands and see if I can even see how many participants we have.
We have one participant and I do not see any hands up.
Hand. Okay. Well, we will have it's going to be a very short public comment then. I don't believe there's any unintended or unknown, things in the last 48 hours. Oh, it looks like Allison has just joined us. We'll just say a quick hello. Allison, can you hear us? Oh, maybe not. Maybe she's not fully joined yet. But
So we
she could be here for the vote to send us on our way, I think, in a moment. Bruce, did you have a question before I move to ending the meeting?
Yes, an item not anticipated. It's it has been covered, but I had a note to ask about the building committee member visits to the site visits and so forth. And it's kind of embedded in the report, but maybe it should be elevated to a line item because it's something that's, I think, quite important. And so So it is recognized that that from Tuesday, July 22nd at 4 p.m. will be the first. Is there a sense of the regularity of these? I guess that would be the question.
Every other month.
So once every 2 months.
Yes.
Yeah. Good. I'll save all of my questions for the July 22nd, which I assume is, I imagine is after our next regular meeting. Is that correct?
Close to.
Yeah, I think I'd have to look at my calendar. So it's,
I'm checking
So-
it now.
Yeah.
Let's see if Connor, I get there first. So it's a race. The next building committee meeting is on July 18th.
Okay.
yeah, so
Okay, so
it's just
after
after it.
And
Yeah.
the Tuesday after that, we go for a walk together.
Okay.
Thank you. And again, I'm continue to be impressed with everybody's efforts in this regard. That it's no wonder our meetings are so short, so uncomplicated, and I hope it stays that way.
Oh yeah, projects are super simple.
Now, Allison, just in case you didn't pick up what Bruce was saying, they're going to do a building committee site visit on July 22nd, where one of the pictures they showed us, you can actually walk up the stairs now. So you can, and we'll post these pictures, but that's at, what I heard was 4 p.m., you
Yep.
know, and Connor is going to send us a notice so we can put it on our calendar. So I guess my follow-up question on Bruce, you know, to the extent we'll be inviting the whole building committee, but if there are key teachers, I heard from someone at some event I was at that some teachers had not seen pictures, you know, when I was giving a talk on the pictures. And so if we needed to, we can schedule something just on what's coming. And this was elementary school teachers. So I don't know, Ksenia, at what point, that's the summer. So I don't know whether we can make it bigger, but just to think about, is there some point we can do something that would have more people? And I'm not suggesting it for July 22nd. Yeah.
So the reason we held on to starting the tours until this point is because we now have floors to walk on and stairs to walk up, right? From now to the end of a project, things are not going to be safe to go for a stroll. It requires a lot of situational awareness, right? No stepping backwards while taking a selfie and falling off edge. None of that, right? So we're all going to be there to make sure that people who are not comfortable and familiar with working project sites can do so safely, and that we are looking out for them. But there's going to be, we will welcome a reasonable number of people. We can figure out what reasonable means once we see how many people are actually interested in coming, right? We're not going to turn people away based on, well, we said 19 and it's 20, right? We will make accommodations. Of course, if it's not 20, but it's 200, there's a sweet spot somewhere in there, right? If there is a tremendous amount of interest in a particular month, we might add a visit to break it up. So we will we welcome everybody who wants to go on a visit to email Connor. Connor will collate the list and share it with leadership here to make that decision and share it with the contractor so that they can confirm that they can support that many people. So, and of course, teachers are welcome. Regarding the picture, so we are going to be updating the website in the next few weeks to make sure that we've got more of the picture tour available there. They are, of course, posted with the meetings, but also each month when we prepare the set of pictures for this group, we also share them now with the town's communications director, who posts something in social media with a little status and some pictures as well. So we will continue to pursue as many paths for communication as makes sense.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. With that, unless there are more comments or questions, I think we could entertain a motion to end the meeting.
I move to adjourn.
Who would like to
Second.
second? Bruce will second, and I'll just call on people again in the order I see them. Jennifer
Yes.
and Bruce,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes,
Michael,
Yes.
Allison,
Yes.
Paul,
Yeah.
Alicia,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. With that, we're concluded.
thank you, Jonathan.
No problems. One more very basic question. Do I need to do anything to end it or
No, if you
if I
push
just
you push the adjourn button and then you end it for everyone and the
Okay.
over, you can put, you see way over in your right-hand corner, there's an adjourn or a leave.
It says
you-
end. That
End.
sounds close
That's-
enough.
Yeah,
There we go.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
You too.